Joining us here in the studio to discuss the election results is Ashley Bell, a 2016 Republican delegate.
Also, Angela Rye joins us from Washington. She is a CNN political commentator and a former executive director with the Congressional Black Caucus. Thank you, both of you, for joining us. So we do want to start with the Democrats. And Angela Rye, Bernie Sanders won the West Virginia Democratic primary convincingly, but he doesn't have the math behind him to win the party nomination. So all he seems to be achieving here is dividing the Democratic vote and handing victory to Donald Trump. How concerned is the Democratic Party machine about what his race to the convention will actually do to the Clinton campaign?
Well, I think a couple of things. One is I don't think that Bernie Sanders staying in the Democratic primary is dividing Democrats and conquering for the purposes of Donald Trump's win ultimately in the generals. What I feel like I heard you saying, I don't think that's at all what's happening. I think what Bernie Sanders is doing is staying in the race to ensure that people who support him have the option to do so through that California primary contest. Unfortunately for Bernie Sanders, this particular contest looks a lot like many of the other contests that he's won, meaning West Virginia is not the most diverse state. It's not reflective of the overall American demographic, and I think that presents a long-term challenge for him. And as we know, the math, as you said, is not on his side.
And Ashley, do Republicans enjoy the fact that Bernie Sanders is still in this? Because Donald Trump's new nickname for Hillary Clinton is Crooked Hillary, and Bernie Sanders is putting that pressure on her to be more transparent, expose the links to Wall Street. So is this something you relish in at the moment?
You know, no one would have thought that the Republican Party would be sitting back with a nominee at this point and watching the Democrats still fight it out.
Right.
I think to Angela's point, I don't think Bernie Sanders is in it just because he wants his voters to show up to the polls and be counted. I think he's about to call the question for the soul of the Democratic Party. He wants those delegates to go to Philadelphia, and he wants that platform to reflect his views on where he thinks the party should go. And I think he can do that with enough delegates.
Now, Angela, in the key swing states of Florida, Pennsylvania, and Ohio, Donald Trump is showing to be neck and neck with Hillary Clinton, and Bernie Sanders actually performs better in a head-to-head. How do you explain that at this stage of the race?
In a couple of ways. One is Donald Trump, throughout this primary season, I've called him the new Teflon Don. The reason why is because no attack has stuck to Donald Trump. The reality of it is he has yet to be vetted the ways in which Hillary Clinton has been vetted over the last 2 decades. Frankly, she's been vetted for this office twice. She's been vetted as a senatorial candidate, and she was vetted as First Lady, whether she wanted to be or not.
It emerged on Tuesday that the Trump campaign put forward a white nationalist as a delegate in California. The person resigned, had some comments to say about why that happened. But Ashley, to you, what does that say about the racial undertones of Donald Trump's campaign, that he has such support from these types of people?
You know, the Trump campaign has done a good job of reflecting what Donald Trump wants it to reflect. He's been 100% in control of that. Do I believe he has challenges when it comes to broadening our party and making our party as diverse as I would like it to be? Yes, he has challenges. And I would hope that he put people around him that can advise him and also help him understand that, I look at the tweet at Cinco de Mayo, I think you got to go a little further than that when it comes to recruiting blacks and Hispanics to the party. And that sort of thing makes a good soundbite, and it does cause some nervousness.
But this goes beyond challenges, though. I mean, he's been called racist, he's been called bigoted and xenophobic, and some say those are the policies that are really energizing his campaign.
You know, I don't buy that. What I don't buy is that, you know, the people who support Donald Trump, many of them are good people. They're conservatives who are tired of government as the way that it is. They don't like the Republican Party because they're conservatives, and the party has not done what they said they were going to do. So they rebuke everything that's the establishment. So I think you can kind of try to pigeonhole them there, but that's not it. These are good American people who support a man who they think and they believe can get this party in the right direction.
And you just brought up this whole point about Donald Trump. He's been called xenophobic. He's been called racist. He's been called a bigot. He has represented points and has pushed out statements that represent every single one of those buckets. So much so that even the new mayor-elect in London has criticized Donald Trump for some of his remarks. this is the Pope. You know, I mean, this is someone who has clearly been on the record saying one thing. I know he turns around and says something different. He can't publicly condemn David Duke. This is a real problem, and these are the types of things, the types of issues, the kind of rhetoric that is dangerous and treacherous for what this country needs to be pushing forward and toward.
And is Donald Trump the type of Republican you really want? I mean, we have divisions with the House Speaker. We have divisions among the establishment. It's what the voters like, but is that the candidate you really want?
I'm a conservative. And at the end of the day, I want my nominee to be a conservative, which is why I supported Marco Rubio, why I supported Rand Paul and other candidates. I want Donald Trump to be a conservative. And I don't know what it's going to take for that to happen, but I hope in Cleveland, when we bring our party platform together and he meets with our leaders, that he can convince them and they can work together to say, you know what, this party is about limited government. It's about supporting life. It's about supporting all the things that this party stands for, but we haven't gotten there yet.
This guy will say whatever it takes to win. And if you're comfortable with that, if you're comfortable with that guy being commander-in-chief and having access to security clearance documents and everything else, go for it. But I will work to the blood, sweat, and tears.
And I honestly believe that Bernie Sanders is still doing well because half of the Democratic Party believes that Hillary Clinton will say anything to win.
You should.
And that's
check
why he's
those
still at 50%, and that's why he won
definitely not
West
half
Virginia
of the
tonight.
party, Ashley. Those numbers are off.
We didn't feel we can get you guys to agree on much, but there is 6 more months to go until Election Day, so that's an eternity in politics. We appreciate you both joining us. Angela Rye, CNN commentator, and Ashley Bell, a 2016 Republican delegate. Thanks so much for your time, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.